Hello, hello, and happy Friday. Happy hot, hot Friday. Let's check the temperature here in South Lake. It is currently 106 degrees. So I was out this morning doing my regular morning chores and I let the dogs play outside, usually till about 9, just before 9 o'clock. Then I bring them in and feed them. I've shared that with you guys before because the big chested dogs, German Shepherds, and even Gucci, the golden doodles, the big dogs like that, have there's such a danger of bloat for them. And one of the things that can contribute to that, besides just their breed and their body shape, is too much activity right after eating. Um, So I let them play in the mornings before it gets too terribly hot. And then we come in and they have their breakfast, and that way they can just chill for a little while after breakfast. And then we just go out and do potty breaks off and on during the day. So I brought them in about 10 till 9 this morning because it was already so ridiculously hot. My app on my phone said it was 90 degrees, which I believe. And give me 1 second because I just remembered I didn't get my water. Hang on. I guess I could put up some kind of a neat little backdrop when I get up from the camera, but it doesn't happen very often. I'm going to put these glass doors up. Just because there's so much glare and reflection from the lights in the room. Anyway, so we were outside for a little while, and it was just so hot. The app on my phone said it was 90 degrees, already 90 degrees before 9 a.m. this morning. So, what can I tell you? It's still summertime here. I suspect we're going to have 90-degree days even in October. That's not unheard of here. And now we haven't had rain again since the 3rd. If you missed the video that went up on Wednesday this week, we did get some rain. We got some rain on the 27th, and then a week later on September 3rd, we got rain again, both in the evening times, pretty close to the same time. And that's the way I remember it. I mean, I remember, all my growing up years and even early on, I want to say until maybe the last 10 years or so, that it was so common for thunderstorms to roll in the afternoons and evenings in the summer. And I had always heard that it's because the sun heats the earth and the ground so much that the heat coming up off of the earth interacts with the moisture in the air and, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what happened. I don't know where that went or why it's not the case anymore. But even with the El Ninos and the La Ninas and all the weather-related phenomena that's going on, I don't feel like my chair is right today. Or maybe I have the monitor in a different spot. I've been known to do that as well. And I'm trying to get my screens set up for getting some channel stats out to you guys. We're going to do that first. And then we're going to do some practice rounds. I hope we'll have enough viewers today to do the practice rounds for the quiz show that I want to do at some point. I didn't have enough people that were available or interested in being co-hosts on the show. And I think when we do the practice today, you'll understand why it will be more fun for everybody if there are multiple people that are helping with the stream. So we're going to practice. You guys will get a little taste of what I'm hoping to put together. And if it goes well, and if you like it, hey, Big D, how are you? Then I'd like it to be something that I do regularly, maybe even like a once a month thing, especially since a lot of it is centered on news stories and events. It would just make sense that maybe I could do like a monthly thing, and, it's sort of an education along with being a game. So let's pull up this channel stats page. share my screen. I don't know about y'all, but I am keeping tabs on Hurricane Lee. I think it's either already broken some records or it's expected to break some records for wind speed and stuff like that. It doesn't look like it's really going to have much of an impact once it gets close enough to land, wherever it ends up making landfall. The Ryan Hall, y'all, prediction that I saw just a little while ago, he's expecting the New England, Cape Cod area to potentially be impacted. But who knows? These things have a mind of their own. But at the same time, no one really was prepared for how intense this storm already is, as far away as it still is. So we'll see. It's definitely more enjoyable to keep up with this stuff when I know I don't have to be hit by it. But I'd love to think that we would get some rain out of one of these systems that's coming through. Hey, Bud Files, how are you? Thanks for being here today. All right, so let's talk about channel stats for member channels and previous guests on the show. And let me put up my little blurb again. I am always looking for content creators who might be interested in being interviewed on the show so that I can put your face and your name in front of some potential new viewers and subscribers and let people get to know you a little bit more than what they can just by watching the videos on your channel. So send me an email if you would like to be on the show. At any given time, I usually have 4 or 5 emails that I've sent out to people when I come across new channels, or even if it's a channel I've been following for a while. But interestingly enough, maybe only 1 out of 6 people ever email back. So kudos to the people that email back, and those are the ones that have been on the show. But even right now, I think I have probably 6 or 8 emails out. And Instagram messages, I'll send Instagram messages because sometimes people prefer that for their communication. And I'm not getting responses. So I either have to interpret that as a lack of interest, or they just don't check their email and messages very often. So if you're interested in being on the show, I'd love to have you on the show and just do the old-fashioned interviews that I've been doing since our second live stream. And again, talk about your channel, what's happening, who you are, what you do, why you do it, and help you build your little YouTube family that way. All right, but let's get to channel stats here. So our friends Nina and Boyce at Rooted in Texas are at 883 today. Ordered Steps is still holding on to that 1,320 something. My friend Akashi Chris at Mind Forked is at 479. Let me take that banner down. All right. And then my friend Joe Hupp in Australia is at 324. Jesse and Lisa at Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa are at 1,550 something today. They are on their way to Alabama right now for the pedals, and I can't remember what it's called, but there's a meetup happening in Alabama right now. Andale Homestead will be there. Danny Days will be there. Jerry and Susan from Butler Family Farm are also on the road today, headed that direction. So going to be a nice little YouTube gathering again. I mean, I don't know that it's just for YouTube gathering. This is an event that happens down there, and they're going to all go meet up and take advantage of the opportunity to get together. All right. So speaking of Butler Family Farm, they are at 1,850 something subscribers today. My friend David Hunt is at 636. My friend Lee from the UK is holding on to his 1,240 something subscribers. My friend Adam Sky, also in the UK, is at 352. And hello, Brittany at Flannel Hill Farm. Thanks for being here today. My friends Jeff and Lorena, some Texas neighbors of ours at Back to Country Homestead, are at 791. Hi, Shelly Michelle Morrison. How are you? Thanks for being here. Thank you. Welcome to our little YouTube family. So Back to Country is at 791. My friend Amanda at Bare Bones Living is at 769. My friend Brian at Bearded Eagle is at 1,340 something. And he had agreed to be one of the co-hosts on the show today, but I need 3 people. I really want to kind of set it up like this show that I'm trying to replicate for my news quiz. So that is a standing offer for anyone that's interested in being a co-host. It'll mean that you'll read some news stories, some little short news stories, or you might, throw out some vocabulary words for people to pick the answer for what the meaning of the word is, stuff like that. So it's not a big involved thing, but it is an opportunity for you to be on screen and introduce yourself, so to speak, that way to the people that are watching my live stream, and just have some fun doing a quiz show with me. So again, let me know if that's something that you want to do. And then once I have enough people that are interested and willing, then we can put our heads together to come up with dates and times and things. Bearded Eagle wasn't going to be able to do it at 2:00. So I had pushed the stream today with the hope that I would have a whole panel to 4 p.m. my time, 5:00 his time. So I'm flexible in what time of the day we might need to do it, aside from early morning, because chores here with the animals take up pretty much all my time until about 9:00. And again, to let the dogs have some outside time, I do that before this really scorching heat hits. Hey, David Hunt, how are you? Thanks for being here. Anyway, so back on track here. All right. So he's at 1,340 something. Ashley at CNC Farm is at 2,160 something. I do believe she still needs some watch hours. She met her subscriber count requirement a long time ago. But she needs watch hours. You guys go run a playlist for her. Hello, Junkyard Gamer. How are you? Thank you. Hey, no, Shelly, send me an email. You might even have some tips that we can make this work, because the quiz I want to put together is based on the NPR show, Wait, Don't Tell Me. That's their news quiz. So I'm going to do kind of a spinoff of that. I'm not a big NPR fan, but I love that show because I like trivia and the did you know kind of stuff. And that's what that show, kind of focuses on. While, I mean, it's a comedy type show too, but they really do kind of teach you some things about what's going on in the world. So let me know if that's something that you might be interested in, Shelly, and we can talk about it. All right. So where was I? All right. The Ashley is at 2,160 something. Canadian Family Life has officially crossed the 1,600 subscriber mark. So thanks to all of you who have shown some support to the people on my little spreadsheet. I'd love to think that at least one or two of their subscribers might have come because they learned about the channel through my channel. That's the whole point of me doing what I do with interviewing content creators and sharing channel stats for people. And again, I want to remind everyone that subscriber counts it's not the be all end all. It's not the only way or the best way even to gauge how well your channel is doing or how well it's growing, or it's just the easiest way. It's like just the easiest way to see, okay, at least this many people have found my channel and liked something that they saw enough that they want to support me by being a subscriber. So there's lots of other ways that are probably even more important, but this is just an easy one to track that doesn't require a lot of digging or research or anything. And yeah, Shelly, so my email is in my about section, but I just had a little pop-up on the screen here. You can email me at richcatranch@yahoo.com, or at Instagram, we are richcat_ranch. And then we're also on Facebook, richcat, separate word, ranch. So lots of different ways to get a hold of me. Let's take that down again and get back to my list. So Tiffany at Canadian Family Life, doing great things at that channel. Heather at Come Hither with Heather, holding on to her 1,030 something subscribers. She's also in Australia. My friend Danielle at Danny Days Ahead is holding on to her 1,080 something subscribers. Dawn Ray B is up to 550. Brittany and Big K at Flannel Hill Farm holding on to their 273 subscribers. My friends Jen and Steve at Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve are at 1,040 something subscribers today. My friend John at Home Bartending with John is at 401. My friend Peter Tragos at Lawyer You Know is at 268,000 subscribers today. And I want to do another little did you know here as far as content creation and growing a channel. So when Peter was on the show, this is Peter Tragos from Lawyer You Know, and I keep forgetting, guys, to go back and watch that video to see what his subscriber count was when he was on the show. He was on the show in October last year. Oh, November, the 11th of November, I think. And, was already moving at a really fast pace because I met him because he was covering the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. and I just couldn't help but watch. Raise your hand if you didn't at least check in every now and then to see the craziness that was happening at that uh, for that trial. Anyway, so he was covering that trial. He's got a great uh, style. He's a great teacher. His channel uses cases in the news to educate people about how the justice system works, what it's like to be a juror, just all the behind the scenes stuff for lawyers and people involved in trials, including defendants and plaintiffs, everything about it. And he's just got such an easy way of doing that, and so it makes sense to me that he's taken off like he has. But I just wanted to say that because he was a big channel and he agreed to be on the show for an interview, on my show for an interview, it's my most watched live stream ever, by leaps and bounds, even though I have a couple of other shows that were very popular. But the point of that has to do with connecting with other channels and connecting your viewers or your followers with other channels, because it just help everybody benefits. So I just wanted to toss that out there. If you're not already doing live streams, they're a great way to get watch hours if you're looking to be monetized and you need your watch hours. And I see this question from Junkyard Gamer: once your 4,000 hours have been watched, does that mean you're complete? Well, again, you have to have the 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have at least 4,000 watch hours within the last 365 days to qualify for the YouTube Partner Program that will allow you to be monetized. Then once you're monetized, they do expect you to maintain your 4,000 watch hours every year, but they're not going to shut your channel down, or they're not going to take away your monetization if you don't meet it. But there's no rollover. So, if you had 500 hours on December 31st of 2022, those 500 hours are going to fall off on January 1st of 2024. So it's only going to be within, or maybe on December 31st of 2023, it's only going to be within the current 365-day period. So you do have to still have engagement on your channel. Hang on, I got to turn this fan off of me. Here I got up again, and I don't have a neat little icon or anything to put on my screen. And I've got this fan blowing in here because, again, it's just so stinking hot. So we have fans, and, the blinds are drawn on most of the windows. I even have a piece of cardboard in my kitchen window right now because I feel like there's a lot of heat that comes in, even though there's a covered porch just beyond that window. So I think that fan was probably blowing some dust around that's getting in my throat, even though I'm trying to chug my water. All right, so back to my list. So go check out Peter's channel and tell me what you think. And now Katie at Mayfield Ranch she's officially crossed the 1,200 subscribers mark today. Paul at Millionaire Paul the Millionaire Challenge, another UK friend of mine, is at 301. I'm still a sponsor for that channel right now. I think I have one or two more videos. If you go and watch the videos he's producing right now, you'll see some videos. You'll see my video up in the top left of the screen. And I have gotten some subscribers out of that. So I've had a couple of people subscribe, and then they comment on a video and say, hey, I learned about you at Millionaire Paul's channel. So that's a fun, inexpensive little way to kind of market yourself and help him because he's not a big enough channel yet to be monetized. So he has officially crossed the 300 subscriber mark. He was at 301 this morning when I did my research for the spreadsheet. My friend Tammy at Mountain Grandma is at 904. My friend Tiffany at Mud and Mascara Homestead is at 542. My friend Nick at Multi Hunter 24/7. He and his family are Texas neighbors of ours also. They're at 1,070 something today. I think he still needs watch hours as well. So it's such a great, just such a great way to support a channel, and something so easy you can do. It doesn't even take a lot of time because you really can go pick a playlist from their playlists and just run it and let it run, and then go wash your car or wash your dog or wash your hair or whatever, and just let it run, because those hours are still going to accumulate for them, even if you're not sitting in front of your computer. That's ideal. So ideally, you want people looking at your video while it's happening, making a comment. If it's a live stream, commenting in the chat, clicking the like button, sharing the video. Those are the things that trigger the little YouTube machine, so that when people open up their YouTube at the beginning of the day, the recommended videos that come up, yours can be among them. So the better the engagement, and that's why I say the subscriber count is not always what matters. It has to do with connections. It's all about connections. How many people are really connecting with you and engaging with your content and with you as the content creator. So anyway, so keep that in mind, and y'all go run some playlists for Nick and Ashley. Ashley at CNC Farm and Nick at Multi-Hunter 24/7. All right, my friend Ginger at Not For Nothing Homestead, holding on to 1,040 something subscribers. My friends Devin and Ryan, more Texas neighbors of ours. They bought some property up in Oklahoma, so they will not be Texas neighbors. Well, they'll be Texas neighbors in that Oklahoma is a neighbor of Texas, but they won't live in Texas at some point. They're getting that land ready so that the whole family can go up and live on this land. So there's lots of interesting things to watch there. I say it every time I talk about them. They have an amazing personal story, who they are, just their life. I'm not going to spoil it by telling you ahead of time, because I want you to go and learn about them. But their story is that engaging and inspiring and amazing that this is why we're seeing the kind of numbers we're seeing. When I had them on the show, I think they might have been at 600 or 700 subscribers. I don't remember. I ought to add a column for all of these people that we're going over stats for right now. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to add a column at some point, or even just over in their where the names are, in parenthesis, or over here in the little column to the left of their name. I'm going to put what their subscriber count was when they were on the show. Now, some of the people, it's been more than a year since they were interviewed on the Roundup. So, obviously they've had more time to grow and get more subscribers. But some of the people, it hasn't been that long ago. So it just might be fun to see. And maybe I'll do that too. I'll have a column for how many subscribers they had and what day they were on the show. Because that's how you kind of have to do YouTube. You have to think big picture. There's a lot of little steps, obviously, that you need to be aware of and handle effectively. But it's about growth over time. It's about progress over time. It's not an overnight thing. Obviously, we all hear the stories of these channels that just blow up. Something happens, or they put out a video and it goes viral. And then there's just no holding them back from there. But that's the Cinderella story that doesn't happen for most creators. In fact, I heard a statistic, and I've heard this statistic before. I may have referenced it before, but I couldn't remember what the number was, that 97% of YouTube channels fail. Now, they didn't say in that particular video what they mean by fail, but I would think, number one, it means they never become monetized. So they don't meet the requirements for monetization. Or B, the channel just doesn't get enough engagement and the content creator just gives up. They stop working the channel. That's what I would think it would mean to fail, for a channel to fail. But to consider that there are so many millions of channels on YouTube and 97% of them don't make it, whatever make it might mean. And make it could mean something different. You could ask 10 people, it might all mean something different. I've always said, continue to say, if I can just make enough money from YouTube to feed my animals here, I'm happy. So I'm not looking to be rich. I'm not looking to be famous. I'm not looking to be huge. I'm just looking to supplement the income that comes into my family enough to offset the cost of doing the work with the animals we do that is the primary focus of the channel. So, and there's lots of ways for that to happen. Again, ad revenue. When you become a YouTube partner, then you're eligible for ad revenue. So apologies to those of you that don't have YouTube Premium. If you don't like the ads and you feel like you're, looking at a lot of ads in my videos, but I can tell you that that's how I make money off of YouTube. So when you are in a position to just let them run, let the ads run, the more ads that are played during my videos and the longer those ads are played, the more money I can make. It's still pennies here and there. But that's why it's so important as a content creator that you're consistently putting out new content and that you have a variety of content, long form stuff, live stream stuff, shorts, things that will keep people entertained and bring in all kinds of people, appeal to various demographics and audiences. So that YouTube can make money, because that's what they're about. They support their creators, but bottom line for them is they want to make money. They're a business, and if there wasn't money to be made for them, there would not be any YouTube. So I'm not criticizing that, but just reminding everyone that that's what ads are about. And if you don't like to watch the ads, you can purchase a YouTube Premium membership. And it's kind of like Hulu or Netflix. And you pay, your $13 or $14 a month, and then you don't have to watch the ads. So, and I have a premium membership, but I don't know that it would be so terrible to have to watch the ads. But when you have a premium membership, then a portion of that premium membership then gets distributed to the channels that you watch. So even though you're not watching their ads or ads on their channel, because you have a YouTube Premium membership, a little bit of that gets spread around. And so those content creators do make a little money off of your YouTube Premium membership. And when I look at my analytics, even there is a category where it tells me how much of my revenue is coming from YouTube Premium members. And then again, as always, there are channel memberships. So many, if not most, of the channels that are monetized offer channel memberships. And it's kind of YouTube's answer to Patreon. So we have a Patreon account and we have channel memberships available. No one has signed up for Patreon. I'm not really working it very much, and I don't know what I could do with that to make it, more enticing for people. My understanding is that as a content creator, I would get more money for each dollar that someone uses to buy a Patreon membership than I get from the YouTube channel memberships. But, if you can find the right quantity of members, whichever place it is, then it won't matter. So if you were a channel that had 99-cent memberships, but you had 1,000 people that all bought a 99-cent a month membership, y'all do that math. Now, I wouldn't get to keep the whole 99 cents, but, if enough people were interested in that and had the means to support the channel that way, there's another way I can feed my animals, y'all. So a little plug for my channel. I do have memberships available, with the 99-cent a month level being the lowest one, and the $2.99, I think, is the highest one. There's 3 membership levels. So that's something to look into. But I'm really getting off topic here today. We were talking about Devin and Ryan, I think. So go check them out. Nancy at Our Treasured Home is at 1,140 something subscribers today. Papa's Kitchen is still at 332. Still no word from him, y'all. So I'm officially worried. About him. But it's still a great channel. He's a great cook, and there's lots of things to learn by watching his videos. Let's see. I'm missing some things in the chat. Junkyard Gamer, 541 subs. So Junkyard Gamer, we need to get you on my channel, and we'll do an interview, introduce you to some more people, and help you grow that way. Hey, Whispers from the Dark. So where are you in North Texas, Whispers from the Dark? I am in South Lake, Texas, between Grapevine and Fort Worth. Well, between Grapevine and Keller, but real close to Fort Worth. And I'll keep going down my list. Shane, my friend from Canada, at Paralife TV, your everyday wheelchair ninja, is at 2,070. Some great inspiration, some great motivation there, guys. You got nothing to complain about if you'll take a minute to go and see what it's like for someone that would have something to complain about, except that he doesn't complain about it. So check out Shane at Paralife TV. My friend John Pedroza at Pedroza Travel. Oh, look, y'all, that's my Sonic pop-up. Only 2 days left. What did that say? I have the Sonic app. We have a Sonic hamburger stand. I don't know if they have those all over the place. Let's see. Oh, I don't know that I can read it here. Don't miss your chance. It has to do with cheeseburgers, I think. I don't even eat at Sonic very often, but you get like half-price drinks if you have the app. You get half-price drinks all the time. And let's see. I'm missing some. So, Whispers from the Dark, northwest of Denton. Okay. So Denton is about a half an hour, 35, 40 minutes maybe from us. Andy Two-Tone Frazier. Hey, thanks for being here today. Hey, so I'm trying to figure out, so how do I know you, Andy? So my birthday was yesterday, guys. And Andy says birthday shout out for my buddy Nick Gunn, or Nick Gurr. I do have my glasses on, don't I? And I can't see. So if there's someone else's birthday, happy birthday to that person. But my birthday was yesterday. Oh, how funny. The world is so small. All right, let's get through this list. So John Pedroza is holding on to his 1,130-something subscribers. My friend Vicky Lund at Psychology Noir with Dr. Lund is still at 1,040-something subscribers. Wes and Jess at Rich New Design are at 547. Ronnie and Brittany at Ronnie and Brittany RB Story. California friends of ours are at 755. My friend David, Texas neighbor at Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. He's just continuing to roll and roll and roll, guys. He has officially crossed the 3,000 subscribers mark. My friend Shannon at Shanster Travels is at 717. My friend Sparrow Spalding is at 1,470. I got a text from her yesterday, so she and I need to set a date so we can just catch up with each other. It's been a while since we've talked, and she was such a great therapist for me during my, crisis phase a couple of months ago. My friends Kenny and Debbie at the Adventures of Kenny and Debbie are at 786 today. My friend Angela at the Inquisitive Farm Wife is at 1,990 something. My friend Dino at the Late Late Horror Show is at still 114,000 something today. My friend Tom Salta up to 2,840 today. My friends John and Sarah at Two Doves, Bees and Gardens are at 1,730 something. My friends, the Vineyard Chicks, are at 4,650 something today. My friend Ralph at Webb's Web holding on to his 1,040 something subscribers. My friend Robin at What the Flock is at 593. And my friend Steve Robson at Wild Macro Art still holding on to his 24 subscribers. That's not an active channel, so it's not anything I'm worried about. And let me catch up on some chat stuff. Let's see. Thank you for the play on commercials. I'll let them play on channels I give my support in my way. Yes, it really does make a difference. So again, I'm sure the bigger channels just make more money across the board. So for a little channel, we all content creators have like how much per 1,000 views we can make. And that's based on a lot of things that have to do specifically with the channel and the kind of content that you create and how much engagement, again, your channel has. So the more popular you get, the bigger your channel gets, the more each 1,000 views is worth. And once upon a time, you could not make revenue off of shorts. Those didn't count. They're a great way to grow the channel as far as getting subscribers, but it wasn't possible to make money off of them because they're shorts and you can't play an ad on a short. But now, as of this spring, I think, maybe it was the beginning of the summer, you can make you can make revenue from shorts. You still have to have a good number of views, but that's still why it's helpful to create shorts, because some people come to YouTube only to watch shorts. That's all they want. They don't have time for long videos, or they're just not interested in them. So part of what I make every month comes from shorts, and that's why I put up a short every day. Let me take that banner down. And so, yes, it does help. Most of the ads I think that I see are less than 30-second ads. Every now and then you get those like 15, 17-minute. It's more like a promotional video from a company. A lot of those are like healthcare related. And I won't watch that whole thing every time if I'm like watching with my personal account, because I don't have a YouTube premium membership with my personal account on YouTube. I only have it for my Rich Cat Ranch account, and I will let those play for 3 or 4 minutes. So the longer the ad plays, the more money the content creator can make. So you don't necessarily have to watch it for the whole 17 minutes if it's one of those big long ads. But the little 15, 30-second ads, if you can let them play, just let them play. I know it's annoying, and I know YouTube is really bad sometimes about sticking those ads right in the middle of a video. So there might like be this great part that's about to happen in the video, and then an ad starts. And so it's so tempting to press that skip ad button, and I do that every now and then. But when I can, I just let it run. Now I don't watch as much on my personal account as I watch with my Rich Cat Ranch account, partly because of the ads. But um, when I am watching and it's a channel to which I'm subscribed with my personal account, I do try to let the ads run. So, oh, please let that be true. I hope it'll make it all the way down here then. I don't know. I'd love to say let's just test that out, but I don't want you to be in any kind of danger. All right, so let me close this. And I want to try something. So the first thing I'm going to do, hey, John and Sarah, how are y'all? Thanks for being here. I'm going to read. So part of what happens for the quiz, or part of what's going to happen for the quiz, and that happens on that radio show quiz, is that contestants, there's usually one contestant on the show, and it's like a call-in listener, or I know they do the live shows and they'll be in an auditorium somewhere. Look, I was running so far behind. So to get my water, I just grabbed my Fuzzy's Taco Shop. I don't know if y'all have Fuzzy's Taco Shops where you are, but it was a big glass. So I thought, okay, that's a big glass. I can fill that with water. Anyway, so they'll have a contestant on the show. And one of the games, one of the news games they play, is that the contestant listens to 3 news stories, and they have to guess which one is true. So I actually have pulled some of those stories from, archived shows of Wait, Don't Tell Me. And the way I envision it working, if and when I can actually do a similar kind of quiz here, is that I will find stories in the news and have my co-hosts each read one, because that's how they do it on this radio show. Is there are 3 like panelists, 3 co-hosts. Each co-host will read one of the stories, and then the contestant has to figure out which one of the stories is true. Let's see. Let's see. So let me get to, I got to find this story. Okay, this one has to do with during the pandemic in the city of Pittsburgh, some news that came out of Pittsburgh that were just related to things happening during the pandemic. So I'm going to read each of them, and then you guys will guess which one you think is true. I just got to find it. Which one is the first one here? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Story number 1. So you're going to guess which of these 3 is true. Pittsburgh is known for sports, but the most exciting competition these days is the Litter League, a competitive trash collecting league that is far more interesting than the Pirates this year. It began when civic-minded trash pickers in Pittsburgh have used their free time during the pandemic to clean up illegal dumping grounds in the city. And as with any good deed, the temptation to cheat began almost immediately. So the official rules are trash must be man-made, must be man-made junk already in place. I'm going to move this here so that I can sort of be looking at y'all. Man-made junk already in place. Volume and weight are the name of the game. You want your illegally dumped mattresses, your tires, your bathtubs, hopefully a piano or two. One fierce competitor noted, if you get obsessed with picking up cigarette butts, you're going to lose. All right, so that's the first story, competitive litter cleanup from the good people of Pittsburgh. And now the second story, again, you're going to listen to all three of these and decide which one is true. Second story, every year the physics department at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh holds the Magneto Championship named after the Marvel character. Students design and wear magnetized metal armor and try to attract the most ball bearings after they're dropped into the middle of a field. It's like Hungry Hungry Hippos, but with nerds. This year, because everyone has been locked inside so long, the department moved the competition to Heinz Field, and instead of ball bearings, they used one small 1-pound cannonball. So the competitors naturally superpowered their magneto suits to keep up. But when the ball dropped and they powered on, all hell broke loose. One competitor flew straight up and stuck to the metal support beam. Another found herself being chased by an empty car that was pulled from a parking lot. And as for the rest of the world would-be supervillains, even though they avoided immediate danger, it turns out a 1-pound cannonball flying towards your chest from 30 yards, it hurts. And that was the second story. The Magneto Championship goes awry when they try using cannonballs instead of BBs. And then the final story, you probably know all about Pittsburgh's legendary steel industry, but now the city also has a burgeoning stealing industry. Pittsburgh Steelers, spelled Stealers, is the name of a recently announced 24-hour shoplifting jubilee. It was instated by the city to encourage citizens to return to stores and has been described by economists as a cross between an economic stimulus package and the purge. The 24-hour legalization of shoplifting is meant to get consumers back into stores as capacity restrictions are lifted. And it's getting rave reviews from some customers. I think this could be a real boost for the city, said Eric Malloy, a local school teacher who was carrying a trash bag and wearing cargo pants with the biggest pockets you've ever seen. To avert total chaos, the city has implemented a few guidelines to keep things from getting out of hand. Shoplifters can't steal more than they can physically carry. That's unfair. Shoplifters may not steal the personal belongings of retail employees. That's just rude. And shoplifters may not fight each other for goods. This isn't a clearance sale at a bridal boutique. Vendors may request reimbursement for any stolen merchandise. So let's hope this event is followed by a 24-hour legalization of insurance fraud. All right, so first story was the Litter League. The second story was the Magneto Championship. And the third story is the Pittsburgh Steelers 24-hour shoplifting jubilee. So in the chat, which of those three do you think is the true story? The Litter League, the Magneto Championship, or the shoplifting jubilee? Right, Whispers from the Dark is saying third story's true, the shoplifting jubilee. Anyone else have a guess? All right, Shelly says the first story or had to be the true one, the Litter League. Any more guesses? So again, when we do it on the show, we'll actually have a contestant. And I could even have a call-in contestant. I have done a call-in show. Some of you may have been here when I did a call-in show one day. I need to work a little bit on my audio here because the person on the other end of the line told me that they had an echo. So I'll have to figure that out. I know back in the old days, when I was a kid and you could call into KLIF, the rock station, and win tickets or T-shirts or stuff, they would always tell you to turn your radio down while you were on the phone with them because there was feedback and it made an echo. So I don't know if that's what it was or not, but we can work that out. So we could either do a call-in, maybe part of the show will be for a call-in contestant, and then another part of the show, I'd like to actually have the person on screen with me and the three co-hosts that'll be reading these stories. Right. So I have at least 2 votes for the Litter League, 1 vote for the Steelers. So now let me tell you. All right. So it said, this is what they said on the show. We actually spoke to someone involved with the real Pittsburgh pastime. The league was, I guess, a way to bring people together to do litter collection and I guess have some fun. So, yes, the Litter League was the true story of those 3 stories. And what a clever idea. So, I wonder if that's still going on up there. So, we're going to do one more of these, but I'm going to do these a little bit differently. So, you guys bear with me. I think I'm going to have to share the screen so that you can hear, because I found a podcast transcripts website where I can actually play these stories being read. So hopefully this isn't going to be like a copyright thing. Let me go back so I can share the audio and then you guys tell me if you can hear it. Okay, here we go. What is this one? That one right there. All right, so let me play this. Oh, I had these marked. Let me find it again. Well, I wonder, hang on. Did that change over? No. So I had these marked so I'd know where it started in the transcript. But give me a second and I'll find it. And then I didn't realize when I first came across this that I could play these stories. Oh. Well, let me find one that I can. All right. Okay. So this one here. Okay. So this one, because I know this will work. The topic for the stories, again, you have to pick out which of the 3 stories is true. And the topic has to do with bears. Okay, topic is not your average bear. And let me see how this works. Can you guys hear it? I want to be sure you can hear it before I keep going. Yeah, oh yeah, there's someone else that remembers the old KLIF days when we would all call in and try to win stuff. KLIF, they used to be a rock and roll station, or I guess it was rock at the time, rock pop. And now they're a news. I think they're now a 24-hour news station. But can you guys hear? Could you hear that that I was just playing from this podcast transcript website? I'm going to wait till you let me know. You didn't hear anything. Okay. So I'm going to try it again. I do have it on Play System Audio. Okay. Okay, so Susan or John, whoever that is, or Sarah or John cannot hear it. So I guess I'll read it. So again, the category or the topic was not your average bear, and the story begins. Okay, so I'm just going to read it. Let me move it over here. Again, if we do the quiz show, with panelists, then I won't have to worry about you guys not being able to hear it because the panelists will be reading the story. So let me read this one. In an excerpt from his upcoming memoir, Pete Townsend reveals who first gave him the idea to smash a guitar on stage: a bear. He writes that as a young musician, he worked at an independently owned guitar store on Great Chertsey Road in Chiswick. One day he came in to open up shop and saw a Rickenbacker guitar demolished on the floor, surrounded by bear tracks and bear feces. Apparently, a bear had broken into the store looking for food and broke a guitar that cost 400 pounds. And the person that read the story said, and this is 400 pounds like 50 years ago, which if you adjust for today's inflation is probably like 50 billion or something. While the damage was no fun to clean up, it undeniably screamed rock and roll. The image of the shattered instrument stuck with him until one night he was on stage and felt so inspired, he went full bear attack on his own guitar. Well, not full bear attack because he didn't replicate the feces part, but the crowd loved it. So while guitar smashing may be known as a signature of The Who, let the record show a bear did it first. All right, that was your first story. And then here is the next story. Again, you're picking out which of these three is true. To the delight of campers at Yellowstone National Park, a group of bears have been stopping traffic and putting on their own circus, complete with the classic balancing ball act, dance numbers, and even a makeshift unicycle made out of tent poles. David Heitner, a park visitor, explained, "We were trying to take pictures of the bears, but they ran behind this dumpster. We thought we missed our chance, but then the bears came back and were wearing matching vests and tap shoes. They were really good." His wife was conflicted. "I don't want to support bears being used in a circus, but if the bears are the ones putting on the circus, is it okay? It's confusing. I feel the same way when I see many Kiss, the Kiss cover band made up of all little people. I mean, it's their choice to dress up like Kiss, right? But for most, including this park ranger, the bear circus, which the bears are calling barely legal, has been a delight. I loved it," said Officer Kelby. "One of them bears was doing an impersonation of Frank Sinatra, and I swear he was spot on. So it's time to officially declare this summer Circus Bear Summer." That was the second story. And let me find the third story. All right. The surveillance state is everywhere, permeating every facet of our society. Everyone look under your chairs. It's Big Brother. The latest recruit to the all-seeing eye of the man is none other than nature's adorable forest monsters, bears. Whether it's Yogi Paddington, I think there's supposed to be a comma there. Whether it's Yogi, Paddington, or Fuzzy, years of bear propaganda has I'm reading this and it's not sounding right. Years of bear propaganda has led citizens into a false sense of trust toward these fuzzy friends. This trust has been exploited by the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, also known as DEEP, who's drafted camera to a bear to help them spy on the rural property of Mark and Carol Brolt. Bear 119 wandered onto the Brolts' property as a sleeper agent, like in that show The Americans, that I heard was pretty good but never watched. Incent deep agents. Wow. This is hard. Again, I'm reading this transcript, so I don't know. It's kind of like closed caption fails. I will be doing a video on closed caption fails, y'all, because there's some hilarious stuff out there. Incent deep agents videos during an investigation into whether they were engaged in a conspiracy. whatever that means, it's still that they're saying they sent this bear to the people's property to see if they were doing something they shouldn't have done. To commit one of the biggest threats to American national security, violating a local ordinance against feeding bears. Now the Brolts are suing Deep for the violation of their Fourth Amendment rights and are demanding the decommissioning of the SWAV gadget wearing womanizing agent Bear 119. Remember, if you come across a bear while hiking, don't run. Just make yourself big and ask him if he's wearing a wire. All right, so those were the three stories. I don't feel like those went as smoothly. That first stories I was reading, it was not, it wasn't from this podcast transcript website. So again, I think this podcast transcript website, it like closed captioned, because you can play the episode, and then I think it kind of closed captions. It's using voice recognition technology to type the words, so some of the words are not making sense. So I hope you got that. So the first story was the Pete Townsend learning about smashing guitars from a bear. And then the second story was the bear circus at Yellowstone National Park. And then this third story is the surveillance bear that the city officials or whatever put a camera on him so he could go and spy on these people at their property to see if they were doing something they shouldn't have been doing. So which one do you think is correct? Guesses in the chat. I'm looking for where it shows me the answer here. Okay. So I found the part where it says, we spoke to someone who is following the real story. Right. Shelley votes for the Pete Townsend story. We got any other votes? I think that would have been my vote too, if I was playing. No other votes. Who else thinks that there's who else has a guess on which of those stories is the true story? The guitar smashing bear, the circus bears, or the surveillance bear? All right. If no other guesses, the real story, again, he says, we spoke to someone who is following the real story. And here's what that someone said. I have never seen an instance of law enforcement deploying a surveillance bear. That's why the couple is asking for all the photos to be deleted. The surveillance bear was the real story. How interesting is that? So there's lots of did you knows mixed in with some of this stuff. Anyway, so there's a little taste of how that part of the game is going to go. And then some other things I like to do. Let me pull this up and share my screen again. And you guys will make your guesses. This is just like a simple vocabulary, vocabulary quiz. So I'll have a word and then three choices for what the word means. And you guys sound off in the chat which thing you think is right. The word elucidate. Does it mean to complicate or to dream or to explain? What does the word elucidate mean? And again, we have the advantage or disadvantage, however you want to look at it, of when we do it this way and there's not really a contestant on the phone or on the screen that you can go look it up. All right. Hey, Scarlett Rawl, how are you? So Scarlett's vote is for B, to dream. Any other guesses? Shelley says C, to explain. Elucidate. Hey, Adam, how are you? B also says, Adam also says B, second one, to dream. Elucidate. And the correct answer, and I'll show you, so I pulled these from my Hugger Mugger game because that's one of the categories in Hugger Mugger. I just got to find that card. Here it is. And I hope you'll be able to see it. All right. The answer is to explain. Y'all see that? Elucidate, to explain. All right, and then we have another word. Oops. Feign. What does the word feign mean? Does it mean A, to fabricate, B, to violate, or C, to ignore? Feign. Hey, and so Adam, while I'm thinking about it, I sent you an email because I would love for you to be one of my co-hosts when I do my actual quiz show. I've been saying for a long time I wanted to get you back on the show because I had so much fun with you that day. So I'd love for you to get back on the show and be my co-host. But I sent you an email to ask you about it. Obviously, it's not happening today because I didn't have enough people that were able to do it today. So we're going to do this practice, and then we'll find a date when we can actually do this, and you guys will be the ones helping do these quizzes. All right, Shelly says fabricate for the definition of the word feign. Any other guesses? To fabricate, to violate, or to ignore? And the answer is to fabricate. Good job, Shelly. Okay, so now Adam is back to the actual live stream time with us, but he picked the circus bears. For those that may be in the chat wondering why did Adam come in and randomly put circus bear in the chat, it's because he was making his guess for which of those bear stories was the true story. Let's see, I have another word. We'll do a couple more words. I tried to pick words that I thought you really might know. Oops, that's not what I wanted. How did I do that? Now I don't know how I got myself. Now I don't know how I got myself back on the camera with this thing. Okay, let's do this. Let's try this again. So this word is incognito. Does the word incognito mean A, disguised, B, distinguished, or C, unknown? Incognito. No worries, Adam. Okay, Shelly says disguised. Anyone else have guesses on the definition of the word incognito? Oh, as I was saying, so I tried to pick words that I thought maybe you have heard them, but maybe it's not words you use every day. Because the game, here's the game they came from. Oh, Hugger Mugger. It's a board game, and you work your way around the board to try and collect all the pieces, or it's all the letters you need to guess a secret word. It's not really complicated, but there's just a lot of parts to it. All right, Adam says distinguished. And there are categories. The way you earn the chances to get to the parts where you can look at the letters in the secret word is that you have to answer questions on these little cards. And one of the categories is this vocabulary category. I like the spelling category. There's a spelling category here. So on this card, hippopotamus, for example, the word to spell, if you land on the spelling one. So you spin the wheel, you move that number of spaces. If you land on a spelling space, you got to spell the word to be able to keep your turn going and spin again to move more spaces. Some of them are like free spaces. You can choose. Okay, Adam means disguised. You can choose what category you want to answer. So I typically will pick spelling. If I get to choose, I pick spelling. The kids used to hate playing this with me because I was a good speller. I was a really good speller back in the day. I can't say I'm as good a speller now because it seems to be a use it or lose it kind of skill. But there's word scramble, there's the vocabulary, the definitions, there's the spelling category, and then there's this like free for all category. So like on this particular card, hang on, it's too dark where I'm sitting. I'm going to get some light to put on here. So on this card, you have to answer this question. What does that say? A cesta is to highlight as a blank is to baseball. So see, I don't know that. I know highlight is a game and I know baseball's a game. So obviously, and I'm looking at the answer, so I can deduce it that way too, but obviously it has to do with some equipment that you use in highlight. All right, so the answer for incognito is disguised. All right, so, and Brutus is laying on the rest of the cards. Okay, you know what, Brutus, if you're going to come here, you're going to say hi to everyone. Come here. Come here. Come here and say hi to everyone. And give me my cards. You want to hold the cards? Brutus. Brutus, look here. Y'all, this is Brutus. Brutus is a big Maine Coon cat. Who likes to get right in front of me when I'm working on the computer. Don't ask me why. I guess because he's a cat. Hey, say hi to everyone. Oh, so now he's going to bathe himself here beside me. Anyway, so there will be, I think, some other things along these lines. In fact, these little cards, when we do our actual quiz, then I might use that last category. Let me look at what some of the other ones say on the cards I picked for the vocabulary. Except that I need some light. So I'm going to use my phone, give myself some light. Okay, so incognito, yeah, that was the highlight thing. For the word feign, the card that had the word feign on it, the like free for all category there says, if blank be the food of love, play on. Oh, so it's a fill in the blank. And then on elucidate, that last category is, what do the initials RBI stand for? And then here's another. Oh, list 10 words that rhyme with dime. So that kind of a thing. It's just all kinds of different questions for that final category. And I know I've been in other live streams where we did like word scrambles and stuff. So there's the first category on all the little cards is word scramble. So that might be something we do. But I really like the idea of the, Adam knows that quote. Let me get it back. If music be the food of love, play on. Yes, Adam knows that quote. Anyway, so back to the quiz. If and when I can ever really get the quiz put together and off the ground, then I will find news stories and then either write a fake story or go to the Babylon Bee or one of the other spoof, satire, or, fabricated story websites to have the third story. But I think that's kind of fun. And every now and then when I've listened to the quiz on the radio, I learned things that I didn't know about, which makes me feel bad because sometimes it's like really like it's stuff happening in the world and I probably should know about it, but I don't until I listen to the show. And like right now, so we've got all these named storms happening. And, so there could be like give a list of some things and have the person that's the contestant say what they are. Which leads me to a question. So one of the things I thought of doing when I thought that we might do the actual show today was, read out the names of the 2023 hurricanes so far, and then have the person say what they are. Because I guess not everybody like is a weather nerd kind of person like I am. Uh, and as I was looking up all the names, because there have been other named storms, they haven't all turned into hurricanes. Right now we've got Lee. That's the one that early in the show I said looks like it's going to be breaking a lot of records as far as strength and intensity. But there's another hurricane now that's already formed behind Lee, and that's Margot. But anyway, so as I was looking at this list, I know you guys remember that California just recently got hit by a hurricane and they had an earthquake at the same time. And that hurricane, I think it may have just been tropical storm category winds and stuff when it actually made landfall. But that was Hillary, Hilary. There is no Hillary on the list of 2023 named storms. There's a Harold, but I don't remember there being a Hurricane Harold. And Hillary's not even there. And that really is bugging me. So I did a search before the show even. Why is Hurricane Hillary not listed among the named storms for 2023? And it just it talks about Hurricane Hillary, like, Hurricane Hillary hit California August 21st or whatever. Okay, well then why is that not on the list with Gert and Lee and Idalia and all the other ones that have been in the news? So that's weird. And I also learned, I think I knew this and maybe I forgot, that hurricane names get reused. Like every 6 years, I think I read, the list just rotates. So the list from 6 years ago would be the list that comes back for this year. 6 years from now, this list will be used again. But they retire the names and replace them with new names if the hurricane associated with those names, or whichever particular name is being replaced, was particularly horrible. So like there will never be another Hurricane Katrina. There probably won't ever be a Hurricane Sandy again. I can't remember what names they said have fallen off, but I didn't know that. I didn't realize that they reused the lists, at certain intervals. I also learned, I don't know, it's probably been within the last 5 or 6 years, that when they get through the whole alphabet of hurricanes, I can only think of 1 year where that's ever happened. There have been so many hurricanes that they went through all the letters of the alphabet, and then they start using the Greek alphabet, I think, to name the hurricanes. Isn't that weird? Oh, Shelly's got to run. Okay. Yes. Have a good dinner. Have a great weekend. Thank you for hanging out in the stream with me today. And send me an email and maybe you can be a part of our panel, one of my co-hosts, and help me get this rolling. If you've got some radio broadcast background too, I'm sure you've got lots of tips that I could benefit from. Okay, Brutus, you can let go. You can let go. He's got his claws in my shirt. No, honey, no biting. No biting. No biting. So the cats are out. They're very happy to be out because we don't have any boarders here. I think they would have been fine being out with the boarders that we just had, because those were all, the big golden doodle boy loves cats. He gets along with cats. And then the 3 little cavapoos were so small. Brutus was bigger than the little cavapoos. But their size alone, I think, would have meant that the cats could have held their own. But we just really didn't want to have to be stressed out all the time with the potential of animals chasing each other or dogs barking, or because we already had a house full of animals. So the cats had to stay closed off on their side of the house that whole 2 weeks that those dogs were here. So they are very, very happy to just be out and mingling and sleeping wherever they like and annoying me whenever they like. Okay, so I don't think I have anything else to share with you guys. I did have more stories and things in case we had a bigger group here today. So I'll keep those on a back burner because I might could just, resurrect some of those too for co-hosts to read. Uh, why reinvent the wheel if you don't have to? I know not everybody listens to Wait, Don't Tell Me, so odds are good that a lot of the stories that they've used on the show would be new to people who are watching the stream. But I kind of like the idea also of doing some research and finding some current stuff that's in the news, uh, just again, so that other people are aware of what's happening in the world. But I'm going to let you guys go. It's hot. I have to psych myself up to go out to do my afternoon chores. I'm in that, it's a time now where, so I go out in the mornings, I do my chores, I come in, it's so hot, and so I need a shower. I take a shower, which then I feel so much better. But then I have to go back out in the afternoons when it's even hotter. And then I come in and I'm even dirtier because it's so terrible outside. And I want another shower. And I'm not the kind of person that feels good about something that seems wasteful. So I find myself often I get out of the shower and then I'm thinking, this was pointless. This was pointless because I'm going to walk back outside again later today and just be like almost melting because it's so stinking hot outside. So I'm ready for some cooler weather. Be prepared because when winter hits here, if we have the ridiculous, freaky, freezing things that have happened the last 2 years, I'm going to be complaining about that too. So I guess I'm just more of a middle ground kind of person. I don't know where I could live in the world that's got a more temperate climate than here. We're just so extreme lately. But that's it for today. I'll have a video going up tomorrow. It's just a short video, but something fun. And then I have a recipe, a cooking video that'll go up on Tuesday. Well, I mean, they're already uploaded. They're already scheduled in the queue to go up. Still have shorts going up every day. I invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done it. And for today, I invite you to hit the like button on this stream. And if you will, share this stream. Again, those are some of the things that YouTube looks for to determine whether or not they are going to promote a channel. And so every time that happens, it's a blessing for whoever might have shared. So if you'll hit the like button, when the stream is over, even if you left comments in the chat, leave me a comment below because that's another thing that YouTube looks for. And as I said earlier in the stream, if you'd like to be interviewed on the show or for any other reason you need to get a hold of me, there's my email address, richcatranch@yahoo.com. You can also reach me on Instagram or Facebook. So I'll be hoping to hear from some of you to get you scheduled for an interview. I do want to remind you, I'm so excited about next week's guest. This is part of the admin for the Friends of Big Bear Valley, FOBBV, that do conservation work and support Jackie and Shadow, the eagles that live at Big Bear Valley in California at the San Bernardino National Forest. They are my second favorite eagle pair, and eagle season will be starting there again within the next month or so. Things run a little bit later there because of the climate. So they build their nests a little later than the Florida eagles that are my favorites. Regarding those Florida eagles, M15 definitely has what looks like a new mate. You know, Harriet disappeared in February this year. M15 raised babies all by himself. He did an amazing job. They both successfully fledged. Everything turned out okay, but we've had to accept that Harriet is gone. And he was being courted by several female eagles as soon as Harriet was gone. And then there were a couple that were sticking around pretty consistently toward the end of the season. So that season's going to be starting up here very soon as well. And he has been seen at the nest with a new female. Looks like the same female each time now. So I'm excited about that. I mean, that's just life and that's just nature. And they're only, they're programmed to procreate. That's what their life is about, nesting and raising young. And so we can't predict anything or control anything beyond that. So looks like M15 has a new mate. I think I may have seen her name. I think they've named her, but I don't remember what it was now. So I'm going to be watching that nest. I'll keep you guys covered because that's my favorite nest. But Jackie and Shadow at Big Bear Valley, they are a hoot. They're beautiful, and they're my second favorite eagle nest. They have been since I first discovered them. And I'm going to have some of the leadership team from Friends of Big Bear Valley as my guests on the show next week to talk to you guys about conservation, wildlife, nature, and then Jackie and Shadow specifically and the history of their nest and, how they work to support the eagles in the wild. And so that's a real treat. I'm so excited about that show. The following week, we will have Kevin Weiner from All Bugs Go to Kevin. That's a YouTube channel here. FOBBV also has a YouTube channel. You guys can watch the live streams of the nest. I like to always remind people that when you watch the live stream nests and animals in the wild, you do have to be prepared for heartache from time to time. Nature can be really cruel and unpredictable. But overall, there's so much to learn and just so much beauty that you can see by watching these animals just do what they were born to do. And yes, Adam, I will send you another email. And then we'll wait till you get some internet that's working good. Anyway, so you guys, please mark your calendars to be with me next Friday because I'd love for you to meet. I can't remember who all is going to be here. Sandy, Terry, I think a couple of people. I told them I can have multiple people on the screen because they're in different locations. And learn about the eagles with me, learn about the conservation efforts of Friends of Big Bear Valley, which will be similar to some of the other conservation groups out there. And I'd love to get you all a little more involved in eagle watching with me because it's been a great pastime and a great blessing for the most part. There is some sadness here and there, but there's just little miracles that happen all the time. So be with me next Friday. Be with me the Friday after that when Kevin Weiner from All Bugs Go to Kevin will be with us. Some awesome things. I'm going to be really excited about that show too. And then for the final Friday in September, I have a longtime friend of mine who is a wildlife photographer. He's also very involved in Goodwood, and Adam might even know about some of this stuff. He's in the UK, and he's into classic cars and racing and the classic car shows and things. And so there's a thing that happens, I guess, yearly called Goodwood, and it's a car, like a race car, classic car show. I don't know a lot about it, which is part of why we're going to have him on the show. But I met him because he's a wildlife photographer. I worked for Travel Host magazine for a couple of years back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I was tasked with finding someone who would allow us to use his or her wildlife photography for an edition we were putting out without us having to pay royalties, just to credit the photographers. And so I started a search. I found Ian that way, and we became friends, and we've stayed connected. So he's been a friend of mine again since, I've never met him live and in person, but I've known him and we've communicated and kept up with each other now since 1998. So he'll be on. Oh, look, Adam says Goodwood is on now and he lives 15 minutes from there. Okay, so you know what that's about. So my friend Ian McFadden will be here for the final Friday in September. Tyler and Canine Arlo just made their way to Georgia, to their new home from Seattle to Georgia. And so I told him to take some time to get settled and unpacked. And then I'm going to hope to have him on the show the early part of October. That will be a treat also. And an inspirational and amazing story that Arlo has. He was a police canine officer who was shot in the line of duty. So I will be really excited to introduce you guys to him and his sister Stella, but Stella's not the one that made all the news. I've been following Arlo for a long time on Facebook, and so I'm so excited that he and Tyler are going to be on the show. So we'll have a date for that coming soon. Be watching again for my short video tomorrow. I mean, I have a short coming out, but then I just have a short, like 2.5 minute video for the evening tomorrow. And then my cooking video on Tuesday next week. Yummy, yummy stuff. Stay cool. Be safe, be happy, be well, be blessed. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Thanks for being here today. Again, please like the stream for me. Give it a share. And I'll see you next week for FOBBV. And I think that's it. I'll leave the chat open for a little while so you guys can say your goodbyes to each other. Love you guys. Bye, friends.